Thank you for joining us. You've had an early morning.
I mean, a pleasure. I love to talk about myself, really. It's like my only expert topic. So,
It's a delight to have you here. I love the work that you do. I mean, I grew up a musician. I've always played, I've always sung. You know, there's just something about that thing which happens on stage that I chased forever, and it ended me up in my career because, like, I just want to chase this. And reading your story, I was like, oh yeah, I get that.
you know then the difference between the feeling that you get when you listen to music and the feeling that you get when you make music. They're so different. And a lot of people don't know that. A lot of people listen to music and it fills them up and they form memories and friends, and that's all brilliant. That I also do that. But I'm trying to offer people the different feeling, which is, what would it feel like if you were the singer? And it is such a vast chasm between those two things, and I think it's important that we try.
Much like painting or drawing, for example, when we're little, we don't give two shits at all. Look at that! Spaceship! And you look at it and go, yep.
Well, I love it.
It isn't.
It's
clearly.
terrible.
But they go, there it is. There is my idea in graphic form. And they don't care. And they fearlessly go to it. And somewhere along the way, either they look to the side and see someone else and go, oh, mine's not as good as that. So they either tell themselves, oh, I can't do it. Or someone says, that's shit. Well, it's not as good. And then they don't ever touch crayon again. And it's, in many ways, it's the same with singing. Like at daycare, there's no kid who goes, oh, no, I can't sing. I'm not going to do this. No, they're open, shut them, open. They all don't give a shit. They're in on it, right?
Yeah.
And somewhere along the way as kids, we go, oh, I can't do that.
Yes.
And it's a really heartbreaking moment, isn't it?
It is, and I am convinced that everyone's had it at least once. Like I have always been able to sing pretty well in tune. I've had singing lessons, but I've sung at, it's impossible to sing in tune all the time. And so when it happens and people point it out to you, it feels so big because you
When a
made the
mistake
noise.
happens.
Yeah, when you miss the note or you have a little vocal crack or whatever, it happens. You were the one who made the noise. So it actually feels so personal. Like I've also had piano lessons, say, and when you play the wrong keys, I mean, I'll just look at the key and be like, oh, I missed. But when you sing the wrong thing, it was internal. Only you were in control of all of the minuteness of that. And so it's so personal. There's nothing else to blame except you. So I think when people laugh at your singing voice, that's why it settles so deeply in your soul, because you did the wrong thing. But I'm trying to say it's not illegal to sing out of tune. It's okay if you enjoy singing. I cannot really help anyone sing better, I don't think. No one who comes to my show leaves as a better singer. I just want them to free themselves of the heaviness of the shame of singing. It's allowed. If you have a nice time singing, that's a great reason to start.
Just because I'm not gout doesn't mean, oh, I'm never, ever going to try and run.
And because you have run in your life at some point, you have context for admiring gout. You're like, I tried running 200 meters and it would take me like over a minute or something. I would galumph.
It's a long way.
It's such a long way. I don't even know if I'd make it. But because I've tried it, when I see someone excelling, I think, shit, that's incredible.
Yeah.
I had tennis lessons for like one term at school.
Good on your parents. Singing lessons, piano, tennis, whatever you want to explore. Kid off your pop.
Yeah, they're like, well, he's so bad at everything. Let's keep looking.
But that's important though.
Yeah,
that is important.
like I would hold the tennis racket and I'd be like, it's so heavy even just to hold. Like, how am I supposed to hit the ball back? Because I've tried that, I played one competition and I didn't score a single point. And I remember so clearly I lost every single thing, and the other girl only had one arm. Now, that's not the butt of the joke, but it's just like this was my level that I was at. I was like two-handing everything, missing every single ball. But now I love to watch tennis because I have some context. Like, I deeply hope that the experience that I'm offering people, but at any choir or whatever, any art making, it gives context to life. Like, if people come to the show, try a little singing, have a nice time, it might help them appreciate the incredible art that's around us, the richness of music that is like woven in all of our lives. I think context is everything.
We deny ourselves permission to do this thing that we are born with the ability to do. And this thing which has been scientifically proven to give us so much, we're shutting ourselves off from this thing. And I find that just kind of sad.
It's so sad because it's so easy to do. Like, it's hard to do well, but that's the same with all things. It's like not a birthright to be brilliant at something, but it's so easy to start singing. Open your face, push out a noise. Like, you know, it doesn't need to be complicated. And there has never been a human culture ever observed historically, bones, whatever, archaeologically, that hasn't had music. Like, this is so primal for us. It's so right that we should do this, and it's so equalizing. You know, you simply cannot be in a choir by yourself. You must collaborate with other people in order to get that sound that only we can create. And then we all get to share in the result at the end. Like, it's just so ubiquitous. It's so equalizing. It's so everything. I don't know. I'm obsessed with choir.
No, I'm here with it. I'm here for you because I also think
so
a lot
obsessed
about how community is the only reason that we survived. So it makes sense to me that this thing sounds so good and feels so good when we do it together. And I'm fascinated with the research around what happens to us when we sing and when we move in unison. These things have been systemized through religious practices and various cultural practices, but we don't have to be in those places to access that. And so I understand why when I was a kid and I know you have a story to do with, a certain Nazarene fella, influencing your life. But when I was a kid, I got to play in bands every week. It happened to be Jesus songs, but I was like, fuck it, all right, I'll do this because I get to play bass, so this is cool, and I get to sing songs, and he's going to have to do a guitar solo, and this is going to be awesome. But I was never into really that. It was more like I just loved the way it felt when we were all playing together and everyone was singing together.
Yes, I mean, I relate very deeply to this.
Yes, and this is what I found upon your book. You know, when your kids are teenagers, they tell you some interesting things like this is what you want to do when you want to support them. You go, okay, if that's what you want to do, tell me about I'm moving to Africa to become a nun.
Well, the crazy thing is I didn't even tell my parents I was going to do that. I just took it upon myself. I said...
How did you even find out you could? Like, at what point did you go, boom, that's it. Don't want to be a supercar driver. I don't want to go, be a graphic designer. I'm going to go to Africa.
Yeah, I mean, it was pretty wild of me. There was some context that I have an auntie who lived in Zambia for 20 years and who is a nun.
Aha.
So there's a nun in the family and she looks almost identical to my mum, but she's like the happy version because she didn't have all these 5 goblin children to look after. So she was,
That'll do it.
She smiled like a lot more than my mum and I was like, oh my God.
You know why? Because she's had a sleep.
Yeah, she's
that's
had
why.
a sleep.
Yeah, and she's not being pestered to, can I watch YouTube on your phone? Like, that's why.
It's so quiet in the convent. So she looked really stoked and I was like, oh my God, I want whatever I'll have what she's having or not having, you know what I mean? But
It reminds me of a joke of very poor taste. I don't know if I dare say it. I know we're talking about your auntie here. What do you call a nun who's had sex?
Holy.
Some.
Oh. I also thought holy was good, but some's good. Sorry.
It's a dumb
Sorry, auntie. She's not listening. It's okay. She lives in a convent in Africa.
And if so, you know what? She's Christian. She'll forgive me. Brilliant.
It's all working out. Well, I mean, I would see her and I would think like, I want to do whatever she's doing. And exactly as you just said, my childhood was infused with music at church. And so once a week, I would get this incredible feeling of like connectedness and spiritual revelation. And I attributed that to Jesus, but it took me a really long time to extract the two things and realize that I was obsessed with music. Like music is my spiritual revelation.
I've been to those because when I did a show called Australian Idol, which was a singing show, a lot of the people that ended up in the show, I mean, where else are you going to get the experience to sing in front of 5,000 people every weekend who scream and shout and call your name, except at those giant mega places out west, right?
Well, you could go to pub choir because...
Well, but I would go out to these, I would occasionally, we were doing backstories and stuff, so I'd go there and I'd stand there. But I remember standing there going, well, fuck, of course, with that chord change and that key change and with that harmony, how could you not be elated right now? I've got goosebumps, but I get goosebumps in a Celine Dion song. All right. So you're hacking this thing that my body does in response to symmetrical vibrations of air and telling me it's Jesus, but it isn't. It's just a really fucking great cadence.
Yeah. Like the music has always been so deep in my soul that just hearing, especially when I went to Zambia and I heard my first Zambian church service. It was like the most incredible music I have. I'm getting goosebumps now. It was like life-shatteringly incredible. Like I was like, I'm obsessed with this. I would like to live in this place, in this convent and see this every day, but I have eventually learned to extract the two feelings. I worship communal music making, but it's interesting to me. A lot of people, not a lot, but fairly regularly people will ask if pub choir is affiliated with a religion because so many of us just associate beautiful communal experiences.
Yeah.
We've only seen that in churches. But I'm trying to make the case that this is for everyone. Like no one's got a monopoly on singing together and waving your arms to the music. Like I want to clap my hands and be wholesome and joyful because I like the feeling of it and it doesn't need to be connected to another being. You can do whatever you want in your own head about it, but I want to free us from attributing music only to certain parts of life. Only certain people can have this in certain situations. No, music is just for everyone whenever you want. Like, don't do it all the time. It would probably be annoying, but it doesn't belong to anyone to keep. It's ours.
What was it like being in a community where singing and to a large part dancing is just a part of how you celebrate?
I had never experienced music making in this way until I arrived when I was 16 in Zambia because I had lots of music lessons as a kid. I was in lots of competitive arenas. I was in a Stedfords and sitting for exams. Everything had a metric of measurement involved. And so I didn't understand that you could make music because it was an expression of something that words could not say or a feeling shared between people of joy for someone else, And so I was not only that, but I was so musically outclassed. Like you can have all the music lessons in the world, but you can never keep up with unless you were raised in this culture of singing in this way. Like I remember looking around the church, I couldn't even find the time signature. I was like, what are we in 31-2? Like I just what time signature? Everyone is moving to a different song to the one they're singing. Everyone's clapping on sevens. I'm like, what's going on with you guys? I just had to receive. And I had never just sat back like that and realized that music is an experience. Well, it can be an experience. And I really think it shifted something in my brain because I think that's what I had always been looking for but didn't know how to articulate or didn't even know to look for until I saw it.
What did it feel like when you had made that distinction within you, this thing which you had been associating with Jesus wasn't actually that? And how did that, that's a big spiritual thing to deal with at 16, 17 years old.
Yeah, I was going through it. I met a boy, to be fair, and I guess what changed for me was I really had the hots for this guy at uni, and yet I still felt as passionate about the music and the communal feeling. And I was like, isn't that strange that it hasn't diminished at all, this feeling that I have, even though I'm like for sure falling in love with someone in the human realm when you're supposed to be in love with Jesus. And I was like, how could these things coexist? And it slowly began, I realized I had correlated two things together, but they were not actually causing each other. So, I pursued this relationship and I was like, the earthly form is much more exciting to me.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And then I was also still studying music and that love was still growing.
Yeah.
And I did have like quite a serious conversation with myself after I reached out to the nuns of the same chapter from Zambia in Australia. They have some in Bendigo.
Natch.
And I reached out to the Franciscan Missionaries of the Divine Motherhood, FMDM, on the streets, and I wrote an email saying, look, I've just spent time for 2 months in this convent. I really want to pursue this. And the head nun there was like, I really think that 16 is quite young and you should maybe live your life just like a tiny bit. Just like come back, like go to uni or do something. Come back to me in a few years. And that was very wise. Thank goodness. And so I did do that. And it was through living. It was through the context of my own life that I realized how things made sense.
Tell me about where you are now with your spirituality and things like that.
I almost think that attributing the unfathomable miracle of our existence to a preconceived notion or like higher being takes away the majesty of our existence. I almost feel like the chaos is the most mystical version of this. And I feel like when you make music, that is the truest expression of worshiping the magnificence of being alive. Because I have really come to believe that making music helps you shift from the person who admires art to becoming the artist. You are the creator. And then I think there might be a temptation to be like, well, something so incredible and so mystical must be a creation. But I'm like, well, then what if God or a being put their hands in the pie and made this happen so that you and I would harmonize something together, why is God such a bully in other ways?
Yeah.
I just think the incredibleness is in the chaos. And I've written a book about it. It's not that philosophical, if I'm being honest, because I shit myself in the book or whatever. But like the idea that this all counts now.
Yeah.
Like I'm really starting to dig my fingers into the idea that this is heaven right now, like on earth. Depending on what you're doing, this is what we have. This is all we have. We just have the experience of being alive this one time. And it is an unfathomable miracle to be able to sing about it, even shittily.
Oh, yeah. I could talk a lot. I'm real into this kind of stuff.
It's so good you have a podcast then.
Yeah, because it helps me when if I'm having a tricky time, because music is a time machine. David Lee Roth, who used to sing in Van Halen, not everything he says is amazing, but he says some pretty amazing things. He had this idea that whenever you get in your car, just have a song that plays every month that you'll have your life. Just have one song you listen to at one point in the day every day and then move on and then move to the next song. Because what you're doing then is you're compartmentalizing, you're putting a time machine, you're putting little chapters in your life. And when you hear that song, bam, you get transported back. And that's what music does to us. We can hear a song again. And I'm a fucking nerd, man. And I will listen to a song I haven't heard in forever and I will know every note of the guitar solo and I haven't heard it in 31 years. Music can do that for us. And it is a beautiful freaking thing. So I use music a lot to help me get in and out of, if I'm having a bad funky time, not a good funky time, I'll put on something that I've listened to at a time which is great and it will help me get there. And that's a really important thing for us to have.
Well, that's exactly, I agree, because I put in my book that people ask me a lot what my favorite song is. And I'm like,
what?
It's an impossible question because no song is the right song all the time. You go into your pharmacy of songs and you select the song you need for your ailment. That's exactly what you're saying. It's like, I'm tired. I need this song that I know will lift me up because that's what it's always done for me.
Yeah.
Like whatever you need, there is a song that can provide. It's always changing. It's hard to think of any other thing that gets us together so quickly and to agree on something. Like, the sound of any choir, but a pub choir, the show, it's the sound of people agreeing on a shared goal. It's the sound of people collaborating for a 3-minute idea.
For someone who's experienced the pursuit of perfection in the competition space, as you mentioned, whether it be, was it like, I don't know, AMEB or whatever piano stuff?
Yeah, I did piano and violin exams like all Asian children. And I actually the whole time wanted singing lessons, but that didn't seem intellectual enough because it's too mystical. You can't see the instrument. So I ended up paying for those as an adult.
Right.
But I had violin and piano lessons sponsored by my grandmother in Singapore. And I also did speech and drama at Stedfords, which is basically competitive reading out loud.
I've done that.
So,
oh, yeah. Well and truly. Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
And so you've been in this competitive environment. Perfection is really a thing that we want, that you're being told that's what you're looking for.
Yeah. It always feels better to win than to lose, right?
Yeah.
It feels good to get it. Once you get an A+, you're like, oh my God, that feels so much better than an A-. That was very Asian of me. I feel like once you taste a little bit of success, of course you want that. It's a better outcome than losing, being a loser of something. However, best in itself suggests that it's rare. How
Yeah.
can best exist without everything else not being the best?
Yeah.
And so it becomes this impossible task because we are upset with ourselves all the time for not being the best. But I mean, well, let's be honest, there's like billions of people in the world, as if you're going to be the best in anything.
Yeah.
I mean, and even if you are, like, what about everything else? I'm such an idiot in so many ways. I think that I have become the best at one thing. It's a sliver of my life. But everything else is so deeply average, mediocre. The pursuit of best is impossible. I want to be done with it. I'm not. It's so hard to shake in your mind. But I know we're all like disappointed in ourselves for not being the best all the time. You just can't. Unless we let it go, we will only set ourselves up for misery.
When did you come to accept average into your life?
It's so strange. I think it was pub choir. It's weird because I am the only person who can't go to the show because I'm doing it. And so I watch pub choir, the experience. I facilitate it for others, and I watch thousands of people at a time have this huge like conversion moment where they are transformed from the audience to the performers. They feel so incredible, and the whole time I was at work and I was teaching. And so I watch that happen and I think, oh, it looks good and I've heard good things, but I wish I could go. I can't. But in a strange way, the message that I say at the show has kind of started to become important for me. I've started to believe my own shtick, which is like I say to the audience, it doesn't matter. If you miss the note, someone near you is cleverer. They've got it. We'll figure it out together. Saying these things to me on stage, it's like my own therapy for 2 hours at a time at every show. It's almost like I'm not sure if I fully believed it at the beginning, but every time I do the show, it's like collecting little confidence in my backpack, and I bring that on stage with me, and I kind of think like, this has always worked. I think that we can achieve this together, and it's like proving myself right to myself every time, and I think it's happened so many times now that I actually believe it.
What can we gain from accepting our averageness?
Well, you free yourself because, of course, you're average. I mean, just think how shit you are at everything, like it just doesn't matter. I think it frees you to instead think about how something feels. That's all that life is, an experience. You don't even know how much you've got. So you might as well see if you can notice your life as it's happening in the moment. And instead of pursuing something that is essentially impossible, and certainly impossible for all aspects of your life. You can't be the best person. That doesn't exist. There's no such thing. It frees you to ask yourself, why does this matter to me? What does it make me feel? What is the purpose of this thing in my life? Why am I doing, like if you pick up a paintbrush and you paint something awfully and it doesn't look like anything like what you hoped it would look like, ask yourself, did I enjoy this experience? Why am I doing this? Not, did I win the Archibald Prize? It's not going to happen. For one person every year it happens. But for everyone else, why are you making this art? And I think it helps us become more present with who we are and how we feel. I know for me personally, being present and asking myself that question and like re-entering my body and with my brain all intact has changed my life. I mean, I used to suffer with a terrible eating disorder where I feel like I lost the connection with the experience of my own existence. I lost sense of my own hunger. I lost sense of my own fullness. The only thing that helped me get through that was finding a way to be present again in my own body, listening to the cues that I have, trying to understand, am I hungry? Am I full? Does it taste good? Do I want more? What's going on? This, I feel like is kind of the goal for me in all of the things that I do, singing, pub choir, driving, cooking, whatever. It's like, how does this feel for me? Why am I doing this? And is there a version of this that can assist me experience my life more fully? I don't know.
Would you be okay to tell me a little bit more about that? How do I put this? I've had experience in this area. It might, for some people, it might be impossible to conceive that you cannot feel your own body or your own hunger. How does that start to show up? And what was it that someone helped you with how do you start to reconnect with that?
it doesn't happen at one moment. You don't just wake up and be like, I'll fuck up my life today. Like, it's an accumulation of so many things. But I know that I became aware of the perception of my body from others. So I think I was just coasting along and then suddenly started to become aware that maybe I was being compared with other people at school and I wasn't as pretty, or my body is not as nice as somebody else's. You realize that we're suddenly in a competition, which is so ridiculous. But, it's reality that this is how we treat each other visually. And so I think I started to collect that in my mind, being like, oh, okay, in the rankings, I'm here and I'm down the bottom or whatever. Slowly, it starts to accumulate as a worry. I'm like, what am I going to do about this? I know that I'm not doing well. No one says I'm beautiful. No one says my body's nice. I mean, I went to an all-girls school, so it was, the whole time.
Yeah,
but,
right.
Yeah. But what tipped it over into physical actions to hurt myself was when I did go to Zambia to live in the convent. I had a really different lifestyle for 2 months, living like an actual life of poverty. And so like at school, I would eat like pastry. As soon as I got home, I had a job at McDonald's, I was like living the good life. I was having a lovely time, but I was stressed about the way I looked. But when I went to Zambia, I lost heaps of weight in 2 months. I was walking every day. I was eating guava. I was praying for like 6 hours a day. I came back in a smaller body. And you wouldn't believe, but every single person I think I've ever met said, you look so beautiful now.
Oh, wow.
Right?
Yeah.
And that I know that people mean well. I think sometimes maybe they wanted to say, are you eating healthier? Or looks like you've been exercising or something. But everyone said you look beautiful now. And so this just confirmed my suspicions that I had been building and building and building, that I wasn't ugly. I was in the wrong shape. Because everyone said, well, you're beautiful now. And I had the same face. So I think that just tipped me over the edge. And all I could think about was like, I cannot go back to being more visible because it makes you invisible to others. So, which is not true, but that's how people were behaving. And so I put my fingers down my throat. I just didn't know what else to do. Like, I need food. We need food to live. Mm-hmm. The crazy thing about an eating disorder is that there's no escape. Like, I know that you've already mentioned, like battles with alcoholism. You don't need alcohol to survive, literally.
Yeah, food's a really hard one. I've had a guy who was a food addict on the show.
Yeah.
And that's a really, really hard one because you actually need food to survive.
You have to confront the thing that you're scared of 3 times a day at least.
It must have been, obviously very hard for your siblings and your parents.
I didn't tell anyone.
Yeah, they fucking know what's going on though.
I just don't know because there's so many children in my family. There's so many
what was the breaking?
things
What was the moment
on.
where you went, this has to stop? What was the moment where?
Well, I mean, I would have started around when I was 17, and this is also at the same time that I met this guy at uni, and maybe a year into our relationship. I mean, by this stage, I'm like blacking out when I stand up, and my hair's falling out, got these ulcers and stuff. It's not good. So yeah, my body was not doing great. And I eventually I was so embarrassed. It's so embarrassing to admit to somebody that you're hurting yourself because you think you're ugly. It feels really like weak. Even saying it's just so embarrassing. Yeah. It's like something's gone really wrong with me and I'm embarrassed to tell you this is how warped it's got. And I was so ashamed because it just felt embarrassing. I mean, and the one thing that really freaked me out, I was like, he's going to think that he's been kissing me and my mouth has been doing these terrible things. I've been vomiting all the time. Yeah. And I thought he would just never want to touch me again. But he was so compassionate. And I know that lots of people who go through disordered relationships with eating have shame responses from others. Like, how could you do this? But he never even entered that realm. It was like just compassion. He never made me feel silly for doing it. Mm-hmm. It was just compassion of like, oh my God, I hope that you can learn to be nicer to yourself because I adore you, that kind of thing. And actually what he did was he was like, I don't know how to help, but would it help if I ate with you? Uh-huh. And not in a way that was like, we eat the same, this is this. He was like, I explained to him, I don't know when I'm hungry anymore and I don't know when I'm full and they feel the same. And he was like, well, I always know when I'm hungry, constantly. And he was like, if we eat together, I'll stop when I'm full and I'll just tell you, it doesn't matter how much you eat, but like I trust myself.
Yeah.
And so I would just eat at the same time as him to begin with.
Uh-huh.
Not necessarily the same thing, but I'd be like, oh, okay, well, that was a human amount that he's had. That's all fine. Yeah. And it took years.
Yeah. I had a similar experience. So I lost a bunch of weight for a magazine thing and couldn't tell when I was full. And I would just shovel. That's the word that they use for it. I was shoveling food. I couldn't tell when I was full. And I was like, this is not good.
Yeah.
I couldn't feel my own body. It's different now. But
yeah, well, me too.
When those hormones aren't responding correctly, when the signal to tell you things are okay. And so it took a while. But what's it like now on the other side of this? I mean, you're a very public person. You see pictures of yourself. You see footage of yourself. Are you able to go and, I've fucking come a long way? Is it difficult to look at yourself like that?
I've definitely come a long way. I could not pretend even for a second that I am free of this. I feel like it's, when I do hear alcoholics talk about it or people who have gone through addiction, I immediately recognize the language of it's always there.
Oh, yeah, it's always fucking there.
Like, one drink might send you over the edge.
Might.
Oh, yeah. Like, I feel like one purge would do it, right? Like, it's just below the surface. But the thing that has changed for me, that is the huge distance that I've traveled, is that I'm able to try and separate out objective and subjective feelings that I have in my body. Like, if I eat a meal and I feel full, subjectively, I think to myself, I think I must look so much bigger now that I've had one meal. It's a strange thing in my mind. I don't mean to be fat phobic or anything. It's like this feeling that I have, like, I think my whole body has changed shape now I've eaten one meal.
Yeah.
That's a really true feeling that I have. I have changed visibly in front of everyone by eating this one meal, but objectively, I'm a human person who fueled their body with one meal. So you say both true things and you try and figure out which one is the objective one. And so it doesn't mean you can delete the subjective feelings that you have, but it's like, I'm quite sure that this was a human thing. We have the capacity
to be with both.
Yes.
And we're able to go, well, where's the evidence?
Yeah.
Where's the evidence for each of this? And it's, I mean, at first, I would check my thinking with other people. I didn't like that I had to check my thinking with other people. But after I got over that, I just do it. And it's much easier. It's like, hey, I've just got this idea that, like, did I really just fuck that whole thing up? And they go, no, you didn't. Like, thank you. And then,
just checking.
The whole time my brain's going, you really fucking just like, yeah, I know, thank you. But they said it's cool. So I'm just going to chill with them for a while. And unless there's some fucking massive ramification that both of us missed, I'll know that they were right.
Well, I'm even like this with the show. Like, I will very often, my poor crew, they endure my anxiety. But, I'll walk off stage and 5,000 people have come to sell out the Horden or whatever. And I will teach the show and I'll walk off stage being like, I think I fucked that up. But everyone cheered and everyone had a great time and they already want a ticket for the next show. Like, one of them is subjective and one of them is objective, and you just have to go with that one.
How do you choose the tracks that you're going to use?
I try and read the room. I mean, I like to try and pick a song that I think suits where we're at. I don't always get it right. And plus, everyone feels differently. But, if we've all been really going through it lately, I might try and pick something really up. Or like a punk song or something that we just like can like fist pump in the air. Like I try and just meet people where they're at, because I really want my audiences to understand that music is shaped around us and can meet us in our needs, not we just go through and we just worship at other people's like altar of talent. Like we can do that as well, but you can shape the music so that it feels right for you. And I think that's huge for people. It's like, it's a privilege to know how to do that. And I like to facilitate that for people and to be like, you feel angry? Shout this.
It's granting ourselves the permission once again to do this thing that we were born to do, this thing that feels really good for us, and the thing that's good for us when we do it with other people.
I feel like I should say, I always hope that pub choir is like the jumping off point for people. Sometimes I see little pockets of the internet being like, that bitch thinks she's like capitalized choir. And I'm like, no, don't you see we're not in competition with each other? Just because people come to my show doesn't mean that they're not going to join a choir. Quite the opposite, I think, is that it just opens people's mind to the possibility.
I just want to be really clear, just like, and make me no bones about it. Those people can get absolutely fucked. Okay.
Thank you.
Because they're not creating this experience for thousands of people at once. Like the deployment of psychological interventions at scale is really, really, really hard to do. Really hard to do. That's why there's never enough therapists for everybody. But this experience you're giving people That's what people buy a ticket for. They want to feel different to how they felt before they went into the show, no matter what show you go to see.
It's true.
All right? But you're giving them something beyond that. And you allowing them to take home something that isn't from the merchandise stand. You're allowing them to take home.
Also buy our merch, but yeah, go on.
Absolutely. Yeah. If you love a band, buy their merch all the time. Buy the thing. You're giving them an experience that they otherwise would never get, and an uplifting emotional one, which has nothing to do with anything except I'm standing in a room with strangers and now we're a little closer when we leave.
Thank you for saying that.
And that's nice. We need to feel that we're a part of something bigger. And if we spend our whole time just like staring into an LED screen, we might be scratching the itch of I'm a part of something bigger, but we're not.
Actually, I think that's one of the most important things that right at the beginning of the show, I'm like, put your phone in your pocket. You weren't going to watch the videos back anyway. You don't even have the phone storage and you're going to miss the show because the show is you. Don't look at your phone, eyes up. Like it's an eyes up sort of show. Yeah. And I think just me bullying everyone into putting their phone in their pocket and just freeing them. And like the eyes up experience is rare now.
Yeah.
It's one of the last analog things that we're doing. That and funerals, put your phone away.
Yeah.
And so I think that has become really, I didn't know that at the beginning, but that is becoming increasingly crucial to the experience. It's like, no. Look up and feel something. Anything at this point would be good.
Yeah.
But if you can eyes up and look around and see who else is helping, see who's confident and ask for help, like we're in this moment at the same time, it would be a shame to miss it because you're like trying to zoom in.
You're facilitating community engagement in a safe way. And that's the thing that we all need. Loneliness is like, what did I read the stat the other day?
It's like worse than smoking a pack a day.
It's 15 cigarettes a day. Loneliness is as bad for you as 15 cigarettes a day. And the other thing, people who participate 4 times a month in something along what you're describing in a organized group community thing, they have on average a 14-year longer lifespan. 14.
That's huge. Come to the show, everyone.
But you think about why, right?
Yeah.
Because, there's people who are looking out for me.
Yeah.
I have a reason to go and be.
Yes.
I contribute.
Yes.
I feel useful.
I think that's really important to note is like pub choir is a one-night stand. You can keep coming back to the show, but it will always change. There's thousands of people. I hope that people join their choir if they enjoyed the experience because you will see the same faces again and you matter. Your voice will make a difference, an audible difference to that group. Pub choir, we can't hear you. So you're free to enjoy the experience. But there are so many choirs around the country and all of them want singers, especially men. And I think it's so good for you. I read a study. Singers in a choir, their heartbeats synchronize when they sing because they're exerting themselves in the same way. They're all breathing out in the same way and then in. It is so like cellular, the connection that we get when making art with others using our singing voices. Like go and experience this. Such a human connection.
It's
an
important thing. What have you found out about? Because I learned this through Idol and certainly in my own work. There's being perfect and then there's just committing. Which one is more important?
Oh my God, the committing. You have to be lucky and commit the whole time. I work so hard. It's getting silly. Like I probably need some more boundaries, but I really take pride in being precise about what will make something work. That's probably the biggest challenge is surrounding myself with people who have the same dedication to the precision of what we're doing. I just think I'm not fucking around with this. I know that I like wrote a book about shitting my pants or whatever, but at the end of the day, I have worked so hard to build this thing. It started with 70 people. I was also a school teacher at the same time. I was also running 6 choirs every night of the week. I was hustling. I feel like I haven't truly had a moment to relax and soak it in since it started. But I feel like this is the appetite now that I have where I'm not sure when I'm full is that I feel like I'm on the frontier of a new human experience or something. And I'm like, I almost feel obligated to find out where it goes. So I will just keep incrementally improving what I have already learned and apply that knowledge each time. And I hope that it gets better and better. And I'm so curious to see where it goes because I really don't think anyone's done this before. Choirs have always existed. Pubs have always existed. People have sung drunk. for thousands of years. However, the way that I've put it together using this like visual methodology and this like improvised comedy lesson that I'm doing and the scale, like it's not 1,000 people singing along, it's 1,000 people singing in harmony that they just learned. This is a new human thing. And so I just feel like I will keep going until I find an end, until people are like, we don't want to see anymore. If people buy tickets, I'm like, well, let's go.
Yeah.
What happens next?
He's an actor, Dan McPherson. He's a dear friend and I love him. He once got pulled up during an ad break at the Logies. He got pulled up on stage and they do a lot to try to keep that room occupied for the 4 minutes when you're on an ad break, right? He got pulled up on stage with this comedian and they were trying to teach him some fucking dumb dance, man. And I looked at him and was like, oh, Dan. And it was so cringeworthy. And Dan just went, and this is a guy who at the time was like shooting, he was like a big war guy. He was, making this big, Navy SEAL movie. And he went, oh, and he took off his jacket and he just fucking went for it. And I texted him afterwards like, man, you're amazing. And he goes, when in doubt, commit.
Yes,
and
commit to the bit.
Always commit to the bit. And so when it comes to singing, I noticed this on Idol, it didn't, like Shannon Grassy, look, not the best singer at the time, didn't fucking matter. I believed every word he said and he absolutely committed to it. There's a big difference between hitting the notes and singing. And if you are there, it's like, what would you do at karaoke if no one gave a hoot?
Yes.
Do that. Just fucking go for it. And people will pay that you went for it way more than they'll pay your pitch.
Absolutely. I would so choose meaning over note every single time. Every day.
Yeah, every day of the week.
I mean, ideally there's both, but if I had to choose.
Yeah. Where this intersects, which I love, is that you also did this in the realm of the shiny floor television when you went and did the Got Talent show in the States. That must have been something extraordinary to do that.
I think at a certain point you just reach saturation of like things you can absorb. I mean, like I know factual things about that appearance, like 5 million people watch each episode in America and like Terry Crews is on stage holding my hand and like there's a Spice Girl and whatever. I found out since it's past 250 million views, the clip of my audition, but I don't really understand what that means. For me, I was at work. I was teaching whoever was in front of me how to sing something like I always do. But it is wild to see on paper what that means. But I think I'm too present in the moment to really be able to absorb all of that. I did go on that talent show not because I think that music should be competitive. I have never thought that art is. It's incomparable. We can't compete.
Yeah.
But I really thought it would be a fun opportunity to flip the script and just to be like, the audience is the main character of art.
If people are listening to this, they might not be able to get to pub choir.
Yeah.
All right. Does it count singing along to the radio in your car?
Singing along is a nice thing and a good experience to do. Being the singer is different. Go join a choir. There's just thousands. There's thousands out there. There's so many. There will be a choir near you in every regional town. There will be, if you're in a city, there'll be a choir that does Glee songs and a choir that only does barbershop. Like there's a musical room.
Have been in both.
Yes, haven't we all?
I
mean, there's many, many rooms in the House of Music. If choir is not it for you, there's probably a ukulele club as well next door at the next community hall. The thing with pub choir is the bouncing off point. It's the context for people's lives. It's a bit tiddly. The stakes are low for you, high for me. But there's just so many opportunities to make music with each other. I'm always team choir because you don't have to buy anything. You have to bring yourself. And the instrument that you have is unique, which I think is a really great reason to use it, even if it's bad, because no one else has that one. I would say I do think listening more is a good first step, trying to hear the thing that you want. And an extension of that is, could you hear the note that you want in your head just before you sing it? Because I would say, as a person who has given music lessons and been a music teacher, the problem that I've often picked up is that people are making noises and then thinking. they make a noise, and then they're like, oh, I missed. And I'm like, well, now it's too late, isn't it? It would be better if you could think about the noise that you want just before you need it. It's like preparing your body to make sound. In the book, I talk about when you play darts, you look at the board and then you line up the tip of the dart and then you prepare your body and your muscles and then you throw. Do the same thing with singing. It's like you line up the note that you need and you prepare your body for where that might be high, low, loud, soft, and then you sing. Because by the time you've sung the note, it's too late to take it back. There's no take backsies. You can't suck it back in. So think about what you want first. And isn't that a good analogy for life? Think first and then make your noise.
It works. And if the noise is average?
Then, it's not a crime.
It's fine.
Move on. Next note, please.
Yeah, it's all right. It's all right.
Everything's fine.
What a delight. I've had such a lovely time speaking with you.
Me too.
Thanks for coming in.